This is a selection of flies that we'd use mostly for the flat water on the Henry's Fork. And by flat water we mean up there in the Harriman Park area, all that, and then down there below the Ashton Dam in that tailwater section. Both of those you're really trying to imitate something specific, and mostly it's dry flies, surface flies. So we've got some caddis flies, some mayflies, and some terrestrials, which are the three forms of insects that are most common on those parts of the river. I've got some caddis flies right over here on this side, and they imitate the adult caddis. These three do. This top one's called an easy caddis. That's my favorite because I can see it. That's why we call it an easy caddis. It's a partridge with a little parachute wing there. And then we've got a spent partridge caddis. That's one we've developed 30 years ago. It's still really good. This is a Hemingway caddis. A lot of people wonder where that name came from, and it was named after Jack Hemingway, who loved this river, and that was his favorite caddis pattern, so we just named it after him. And then these are little caddis emergers. We fish those kind of almost like wet flies right in the surface film. That one's kind of dancing around on me there. But there's an olive one and a tan one. And those are the kind of flies you need when the caddis are coming out. And you'd need a variety of sizes of them, starting from about a size 12 down to about a 22. Most commonly 16s, or I'd say it's used more than any of the other sizes on these caddis that we get on the river. Well, we got a whole bunch of kinds of mayflies. We got the little tiny ones, which are the little trichos. There's a spinner and a dun. And then some little blue wing olives. They're real common on the river. They come out early in the spring, like in March, April, and again in the fall in October and even November. This is a little spinner, a little spent mayfly. My brother Rick caught a nice fish when we were on our fishing trip on a spinner just like this one. And then these are some little mayfly duns. This is called a tilt wing dun, and this is a no hackle. This is a little CDC emerger, and this is a cripple. And we will need some of these mayflies in these smaller sizes to imitate the pale morning duns we get, and the little mahogany duns. There's a lot of different kinds of mayflies. You just kind of change colors and sizes, but you use the same patterns. And I put in a few of the bigger ones that we imitate for our big drakes. This one happens to be the green drake, but we have three big drakes that come on the Henry's Fork, and people have asked me before, well, what's a drake? Is that a male duck or what is it? And a drake just means a big mayfly, usually a size 12 or bigger. And these drakes we have on this river are 12s and 10s. And we have green drakes and brown drakes that come out in the upper river, up in the ranch. And down on the lower river we have green drakes, the same ones we get in the upper river, but then we get gray drakes. And so again, you just kind of change the colors and sizes a little bit. But these are drakes. This is a big green drake cripple. This is a smaller drake cripple. This is a little CDC emerger, and this is a dun. This is the adult mayfly green drake. So that's what we have there. Those kind of cover the mayflies. And again, sizes and colors will change, but you need these kind of flies to catch fish consistently in these flat water sections of the Henry's Fork. And as the season goes on, when you get into July and especially August and September, then terrestrials are the best flies. Now, I wouldn't want to be on this river, and actually a lot of other rivers, without some good terrestrial imitations, and we've kind of got them covered here. We've got a couple of ants here, a black flying ant and a cinnamon one, and this is a beetle. This is for us old guys because it's got a little indicator on, a little orange thing, and I didn't really use those too much till the last few years, but I kind of like that now. I can see them better. The little ants, and then these are hoppers, and this is a a grand hopper. That one's one that's, I remember fishing one day on the Madison with Kelly Gallup. We did some filming on a DVD on the Madison, which is a great DVD to have, by the way, and he was fishing a grand hopper, and we were putting a little ant as a dropper, and that's a really good thing to do because it's hard to fish a tiny little ant. So you put that as a dropper off of one of these hoppers. This is a Henry's Fork hopper. That's been a great one for about 30 years now on Henry's Fork. But I commonly do that when in the autumn, not even autumn, late summer into the fall, is we use a hopper dropper system. So the hopper's the top fly, and you put a dropper, can be either another small dry fly or else a little beadhead nymph or something. So that's the selection right there. I think if you have a variety of flies like this, you're going to be able to catch even the most selective fish up in the Harriman Park, and that's the part of the river that intimidates so many people. But again, you want to really stay in touch with the fly shop so you know which to get and when. At any one time, you might need 5 or 6 of these patterns, depending on what time of year, so you don't want to just try to go out and have everything. You need to narrow it down and get the specific flies that you're going to need for that particular period you're going to be there.
Good.
An attractor is a fly that doesn't imitate any particular thing, but yet they're pretty important on this river, and some of them are real general, like the royal wolf, and others do imitate some kind of a bug. But there's some flies here that just an all-around selection that I like to use on the other parts of the Henry's Fork. So I've just got a little basic sampling of some of those kind of flies that I would try to use. This one right here is a PMX, and essentially what that is a Madam X with a parachute on it. And I think if my memory serves me, Doug Swisher developed the Madam X fly. That a lot of times sits pretty low in the water, and so we've put this with a parachute on it, and you can see it a lot better, especially in these smaller sizes. And that's a good pattern. You can get them with a variety of different colors in the body. This one has an olive body, which is a color I like. And if I were to pick only one attractor fly that's above all else, it would be this one, and that's a royal wolf. That's a dry fly. I've fished those most of my life. When I was a kid, I fished wet royal coachman, wet flies. But the wolf sits up on the water. You can see it well, and for some reason the fish love to take it. And I just think it's fun catching a trout on a big bushy dry fly like that. Goofy looking foam fly that, in my opinion, no respectable fish should ever eat something like that. But by gosh, they do. And they made a believer out of me, and I've caught some real big trout on this fly that could look like some kind of a stone fly or maybe a hopper or something, but in my opinion, it doesn't look like anything. I think the fish take it because it wiggles all over and it looks like something that's alive. This one is a little stone fly. It's a little yellow Sally, and there's so many little stone flies of various sizes. Most of them have very light colored bodies, and so that's a pattern I'd always want to have with me, is something to imitate the little stone flies that lay real flat on the water. The little renegade even works in the flat water with selective fish, like up in the Harriman Ranch. This one is a lime trude. It's a trude just simply means a downwing. It's like a downwing royal coachman with an olive trude body. This one we've talked about earlier. I use it all the time. It's an easy caddis, and this is a bigger one. I use that mainly as an upper fly when I'm using a little dropper. It's a fantastic fly. This is not an attractor, really. It imitates a great big mayfly spinner, like a gray drake. It's a fly you want to have on this lower part of the river, which is where we are. And so far, we haven't really put a lot of effort talking about woolly buggers, but we did use one as an example in the Box Canyon, and woolly buggers work everywhere. They work on every river. They work on almost every species of fish, so you wouldn't want to be down here without the woolly bugger. So that's a basic assortment of flies that I would want to have with me every place I fish on the Henry's Fork.